Hey, Nick, nice to meet you.
Hi, Ollie. Great to be here.
133 882. Hit the phones. Plenty of lines available. Your questions are welcome here in Law Talk. Nick can give you a bit of free legal advice, so make the very most of the time that is available to you. I've got one from Belinda that's just come through, Nick, saying, a bit of advice, please. We want to bring down our fence. Isn't it 50-50 with the neighbours? Because the neighbour says no. Where do I stand? The good old dividing fence legislation, Nick.
This is a classic one. So basically, when it comes to a fence, the first question you have to ask, is the fence in good working order, right? So if the fence does the job and it's not broken or defective in any way, then if you want to replace it simply because you want it to look better, you want to get an upgrade, then you probably have to wear the cost.
So that's on you. So if you, for aesthetic reasons, think I'd like a brick fence rather than a falling over asbestos fence.
Yep, or you don't like the colour or something like that, that's purely voluntary. Your neighbour doesn't have to pay for that.
Right, but if there's a problem with it, you do, 50-50.
50-50. And basically, you write to the neighbour, you tell them the fence is broken or defective and they got to chip in. You get a few quotes, chat to them. They don't want to pay, and you can prove that the fence is defective.
Yep.
You got to go to the magistrate's court. Magistrate's court is pretty good with this. You go there. Court's not too scary. In the magistrate's court, they take it pretty quickly to a mediation. So they get the parties together, and they sort it out.
Are most of these things sorted out before getting to court, though? It's a little bit of a magistrate's court waste of time, isn't it?
Oh, I think so. And I think neighbourhood disputes, they happen all the time. But even if it goes to court, I reckon few of these cases go to trial. I had one case early on in my career that went to trial and it didn't settle early on. And the only reason it went to trial is because they hated each other. You just got the personalities. and
obviously they had deep pockets, probably didn't care that they were wasting the court's time. Not that they're necessarily wasting the court's time, but...
Yeah, but it should have been resolved.
Personality differences.
So, and people are stubborn sometimes and just want to... you want to prove you're right. You want to hold on to your principles. You want to win. But it's always better just to kind of get a better result. Save your money on lawyers, and don't have that ego win.
Love it, Ray. Good morning. What's your question for Nick?
Yeah, hi Ollie. Hi Nick. How you going?
We're good, Ray. How are you, mate?
Thanks. Love the show. Love the show.
Awesome.
Listen, I'm in. I've got a battle axe block, right? So we've got a battle axe driveway, and then our house is at the back, right? We've just employed a contractor to build a gate, right, across we just lost our dog, got skittled 3 months ago, and also grandkids security, plus security of the area, and also improving the driveway. So my question is, we've actually just put the footings in for the gate to be installed. Now our neighbour in the front of the battle axe box, who shares the common ground of the driveway, because he's the original owner, not the original owner, he bought it off someone else who developed the back block, which is our house, right? Have you got that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, kind of following, yep.
Yeah, okay. Right, so we've actually employed a contractor to put a gate up, right? So they come along, put the footings down, put the posts up, and then now we're waiting for the gate to happen. Now, and I've shown the guy at the front where we're putting the gate. The problem is we've gone a bit outside our boundary, but it's in the garden bed. So what we've done, we put the post right the narrowest part, which is right down our end of the common property, which is predominantly for us to utilise, right? But I do understand that also the guy in the front has access to that as well, but he doesn't need to come down there. Now he's jumping up and down saying that we've upset the nature of the build and all this sort of caper, and it's downgraded the resale value, which I don't know where that's coming from. My question is, what avenues for him and us do we have? Us to fight it if it gets to a situation. I don't want to go to lawyers. That's ridiculous.
No, so ultimately, Ray, you've put a bit of this fence or one post on land that's not officially yours.
Well, it's a metre from our boundary. We put two posts in, cemented in, ready for the gate to come along.
Right.
Now, when we employed the contractor didn't say, well, hang on, you better show me the plans. You know, when you do an extension, they got to say, have you got approval? All this sort of caper. So maybe we should have checked if there's any approval. I don't know, but as far as I know, there's not.
Okay,
so
Ray.
I just want to know what...
Yeah, what can he do here, Nick? What can he do?
And Ray, are you on a strata? So is there like a common area? So government...
No, sorry. Okay, so the guy in the front, original guy in the front, sold his backyard, so obviously it becomes a battle axe block. We bought the house and land package and built,
Yeah.
right? And then we built a house, but the driveway is for us, obviously, because we got to drive down to our house. All we've done is gone and put the gate at the narrowest point. Why would you put a bridge over a river at the longest point, so to speak, right? Now, we've just realised that it is actually outside our boundary, which has been bought. I showed the guy and told him where we're going to do it. I said, any problems? He goes, no, but now all of a sudden he's gone and checked and he's jumping up and down. So I'm just trying to work out what my avenues are. I don't want to go to arguing or anything like that, but this guy is a bit pedantic, so yeah.
So you basically built a gate on his property. Is that right? Is that the short of it?
No. The common driveway.
The common driveway.
Okay, the common driveway. Okay. Yeah, so in my view, I think that you got to build the gate on your property, right? So ideally, a surveyor should have come on board. I know you probably don't get a surveyor for building a small job like a gate, but a surveyor will be able to tell you exactly where your boundary is.
Yep.
And if you're on the common property, look, it shouldn't be there. You have to move it eventually, right? And the question is, if he could probably go to court and, maybe make a claim for something like trespass because the gate, so you don't have authority to build there. I think also the contractor, maybe the question is, did the contractor do a good job? Did they do it to sufficient standards? Should they have advised you, maybe get a surveyor in to check this? So how much do you think it'll cost you to fix that gate and pull it back?
Oh, we've cost $7,000 to put the posts. The posts are already in. We're just waiting for the actual gate to be manufactured, which is probably 2 weeks away.
All right. So for $7,000 that he's put there, is it worth trying to do everything you said, or just basically move the post back onto what is his property?
It's risky because you can build the gate, then the guy can turn around and make you move it because you can't build something if it's not on your land. And the common property is there. There's on the title. There's going to be something called an easement, which says you got to keep that clear. That's for shared use among the residents. You can't build anything on there, right? And if you build there something, it's build there something illegally. So that's the risk you have. Maybe you get lucky and he doesn't do anything. He doesn't take it to court and say 6 or 12 years expires. Maybe he runs out of time and nothing happens. But you're going to run that risk. Happy to take your details, Ray, and do a little bit more research on this and see if I can figure out any way for you to get out of this, but it just doesn't look good.
And the sort of even if there was an original, oh yeah, mate, that's okay.
Is that consent?
Correct. Yeah. And if you don't have that written down, some sort of contract, if he goes and sells the place, the other bloke, all of a sudden new owner comes in and does their own due diligence, says, hold on a minute, mate, that gate's on the common property and I don't want it there.
Yeah. So when someone buys property, they do a title search, there's a plan on there, and it shows you what the common property is, and if the real way to kind of the secure way to kind of get that right is to actually put the right on the title. Yep. So you have to put it like the easement on the title. So there's a few processes to go through, and I just feel it's very risky. But I'm happy to have a look to see if there's any way, because it sounds like you're out of pocket and it's just not a good situation to be in.
Stay there, Ray. I'll hand you back to Shane and to Sean. We'll get some details from you off air. And look at that. Nick is going to follow it up for you. So if you want some free legal advice, make the most of the next 14 minutes. Nick Maruchak from MKI Legal here for Law Talk on 6PR mornings, 133 882. We've got plenty of time for your calls. At 10 to 11, Oliver Peterson in the chair for Gary Ad said this morning, Law Talk time to help you, 133 882 with Nick Maruchak from MKI Legal. And Pete wants to jump onto Ray's issue with the gate on the Battle Axe block. Have you maybe got a solution there, Peter? Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Yes, surveyor is the only answer. He will do the due diligence there and tell you exactly where you can put your gate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah. And if it's on the common property, you got to move it. I mean, I just at the moment I can't think of anything that can help Ray, but I will have a look because I really want Ray to have a win here.
Yes. Thanks for that, Peter. The surveyor would have resolved all this. And look, up front as well, surveyor's probably a few $100. maybe up to $1,000, $2,000, Nick.
Yeah, absolutely. And you were telling me a story, Ollie, where you had a fencing dispute and your neighbour got a surveyor and they paid $4,000.
Yeah, exactly. So, it might not have been worth it in the end, Nick.
Yeah.
133 882 for your questions today. This is rather interesting. A Queensland judge is going to be flown into Perth to wrap up a long-running family court battle because every single family court judge in WA has been disqualified from holding the trial. This is quite intriguing, Nick.
Oh, absolutely. This is very interesting. I remember hearing a rumor as well that a family court judge was getting divorced and his wife wanted to find a lawyer and just no lawyer wanted to take it as well because
Yeah, right.
all the family lawyers, if you're going to appear in front of the judge, you really don't want to go against the judge. But in this case, look, a judge needs to bring an impartial and unprejudiced mind to the question of fact. There can't be a conflict of interest. There can't be perceived bias. There can't be even actual bias. So in this case, a judge can't hear a case if they have a good relationship with the person that they're judging.
This could be a family lawyer who's been working in Perth, we don't know, for decades and decades, and pretty much every family law court judge knows probably who this person is.
Or it could even be a family court judge as well,
Okay.
right? Family court judge getting separated, and the family court judge knows all the other judges here in Perth, so all the other judges are conflicted from hearing the case because there's going to be an appearance of bias. Even though they might do the right thing, it's still our justice system needs to have that appearance that everything's impartial.
Of course.
Yeah.
Does this happen from time to time?
Look, it does. There was actually something that was in the media, in the paper in May, where a barrister, a lawyer, was appearing in front of a judge, arguing a case for her client, but secretly she had a secret relationship with the judge. So
What?
yeah, yeah.
Hold on a minute.
It's very scandalous. I'm not going to name names.
No. Which way did the judge go on the decision?
Well,
Or was there a jury in this case?
Well, there wasn't a jury, but imagine your lawyer having, she shared a brief kiss with a judge. There was hundreds of private messages. She had a really close personal relationship, and the judge should have stood down. She should have disclosed it. You can't run a case like that.
No.
And she did get in trouble for that. The State Administrative Tribunal said, look, you're suspended for 9 months. She got a $10,000 fine. It was a big no-no. You just can't do that. But, I would love my lawyer to have a great relationship with the judge. You increase your chance of winning.
Sounds like an episode of Ally McBeal or, The Good Wife.
Oh, yeah. It's, it's good. These things are very interesting to read. But, they can't happen. Everyone, it has to be fair. There's high stakes in the trial. You're arguing about your kids. You're arguing about dividing your assets. You really want it to be done properly.
133 882 can still squeeze a call in to before we wrap up our MKI Law Talk segment with Nick Maruchak. What about loaning money for children? This is becoming something, Nick, that a lot of parents need to consider.
Yes, because interest rates are rising. House prices are going up. You just need a bigger and bigger deposit to get into the housing market these days. And often you get it from the bank of mum and dad. So the question is, if you want to loan your children some money for a deposit for the house, what happens if your child separates and you really don't want the spouse getting a windfall? You put $100,000 in, you don't want their ex-partner getting, a big chunk of that. So to protect yourself, just bear this in mind, listeners. There are two things. You want to get a binding financial agreement. This is called a prenup. So you get your child and their spouse to sign a contract reviewed by a lawyer and says if they separate, deposit goes back to mum and dad.
Yep.
And another thing to bear in mind is if they separate, you don't want to get into an argument about whether it was a gift or a loan. So also have a loan agreement. Say this is not a gift. This is a loan. You have to pay it back within. Just put a time frame on it, or when they sell the house, or 10 years or 5 years. So have that prenup, have that loan agreement, and that will make sure that you get the money back if they separate. Because a lot of people are resorting to help a handout from their parents just to get in.
All right, that is some good advice. Let's quickly squeeze Tracy in. Good morning.
Oh, good morning. How are you going?
Good, Tracy. How can Nick help you?
Okay, my question is how I could prove identity theft. I have a ex-friend, shall I say, that has a problem with my husband, I guess what you can say is no hell hath no fury like a scorned woman.
I tell you what, I really want to get into this because this is fascinating.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at the clock and I don't think that this is going to be a short answer, Nick.
Yeah. All I'll say is just maybe do a credit search to see, do a credit search to make sure that no one's applied for loans and fake loans on your behalf. That's the first thing I would do. Just look at that. You can go to these websites, do a free credit search just to make sure that no one's there's a dodgy loan out there.
Okay, I reckon we pick this one up with Gary and Nick next week.
I'd love to talk to you. Yes.
This is a great story, potentially.
Yeah. Tracy, let's speak next week.
Absolutely. Nick, I look forward to hearing you with Gary next Thursday.
Great. Thank you, Ollie. Great to be here.
3 to 11.